Welcome to Grown Man Bars. I'm your man Can't Get Right. And with me as always,
I see the bounce. Y'all know when I got the bounce, I got something going on. I got the bounce.
you are now locked in to Uncle Willie's Barbershop.
You're going to need the bus. This right here is straight up on some bullshit.
I'm going to be honest, there aren't more than 10 or 15 albums by anybody that would have changed my mind.
I don't want people to confuse still being relevant with longevity.
Oh, I like this.
Look, here's why. Let's get into it.
What's good, family? You are now locked into Uncle Willie's Barbershop, a Grown Man Bars, the best hip-hop show for adults in America, where your chances of being famous actually decrease if you don't have at least one felony on your record. While you're here, go ahead and pretend like the like and subscribe buttons brought potato salad to the family reunion, but it had raisins in it, and put your hands on them. I'm your man Can't Get Right. With me as always is the baddest man in Texas. Big Absolute, what's buzzing, good?
All right, man, we here. I'm here for it. I'm excited. It is March Madness.
That's right, it's March Madness, and it is the Final Four time. And I got to start by saying we did this 64 album thing, and I thought this was going to be fun. And it turned out to be more fun than I thought it was going to be, more work than I thought it was going to be, and harder than I thought it was going to be. Because when you look at a list and you go 64 albums, you go, oh yeah, this is it.
I drank a lot. Yeah, I did a lot.
That's what
Once we got to round 16, I did a lot of drinking.
I do a lot for environmentalism, if y'all know what I'm
saying. A lot
of
brown liquor decisions happening here.
Yeah, it was hard, man. It was really hard. This one decision we're going to make tonight is probably one of the hardest ones I think that we've got to make. So I want to tell everybody we got a consensus from 4 different lists to make up our 64 list. We broke them down into 16 seeds. We seeded them all, but I let the software put them in their brackets. So I didn't decide it. And this Final Four did not end up the way I wanted it to. The 4 I'm fine with. It was just the sides that they're on, the different regions they ended up in, put a matchup that we have to do tonight first that I would rather do last. But we'll get into that right now. Here is our Final Four. The first matchup from the Cool Herc and Red Alert regions, the number 1 seed and the number 1 seed overall, Illmatic, versus the number 3 seed, Doggy Style. And your second matchup from the Bambaataa and Grandmaster Flash regions, the number 5 seed, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, versus the number 2 seed, The Score. There are decisions that I did not want to make right now. And there are some things that I'm going to have to say tonight. Some of y'all are not going to like me for saying. And let's go ahead and get that out of the way.
Healthy.
That's right. Conversation, disagreement is healthy. These are only opinions. Healthy. These are only opinions. This is an opinion show. None of these artists will receive an award for this.
We're not getting any kickbacks on the show for our picks. We're not getting, neither one of us is signed the NIL deals.
They probably won't even find out about this. But here we are, the first matchup, Illmatic versus Doggy Style. Let me start on this one. Basically, I'm going to say since the Elite 8, we can call all of these albums pretty much equal talent. I mean, we can all say that all of these albums can go toe-to-toe with each other from the Elite 8 on. We are splitting split seconds when we criticize these albums to try to pick which one's better. It's splitting hairs, picking which one's better at this point. But if I look at all things equal, Illmatic and Doggy Style, with the introduction of Dr. Dre on a full project with Snoop Dogg, the introduction of Snoop Dogg, what became a global icon, probably the most popular rapper ever, versus Illmatic, which from the time it came out, almost, people called it the best rap album. But they both worked in 2 different areas for me, content-wise. Illmatic was a snapshot of a specific place at a specific time and a specific lifestyle. It poetically spoke to a specific lifestyle, whereas to me, Doggy Style was doing the same thing, but having more fun with it. I think Doggy Style was having a little more fun with it. Nas and Illmatic leaned more into poetry. So if I have to vote on this one, if I have to pick one, I have to say, for me, Illmatic is the better out of these 2 for the reason that he went more poetically. He went the more artistic route. Let me say it that way. And that's why it gives it just a hair, but that's what I got to go with. I still got to stick with Illmatic.
Wow. Sir, that was very well thought out, well put together, very detailed and complex argument, and I respect you for it. I'm coming at you a different way. Our arguments are exactly the same in 180-degree reversal. I felt like Illmatic when it came out. You had said something when Doggy Style made it to the 8 that resonated with me. You were like, I think I can remember every song off that album. When I compare Illmatic to Doggy Style, I know Illmatic front and backwards as a project, as an album. I know Doggy Style intimately, song for song. So for me, as I look at it, that was my first thought. My first thought, easy, Doggy Style, not a problem. But I'm like you. I'm like you. Illmatic sits in a place that I'm not real sure, and I don't even know how well this statement will age, depending on how this all goes. But from the moment Illmatic was released, I felt like every other hip-hop album was playing catch-up that album. Now, for whatever reason, and even now, at this stage of my life, I'm still not 100% sure how he got so many things right the first damn time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
How you gonna be a champion the first day? You know what I'm saying? But he had so many things, and I feel like every album that has come out since Illmatic has been consciously or subconsciously chasing Illmatic. And for that reason, I give it the nod. I give Illmatic the nod by a very, very slim margin. I was actually scared to have to go track for track, since it's all subjective. Just as an overall project, I got to give the nod to Illmatic.
Illmatic, moving on to the finals, as I expect a lot of people thought it would.
Y'all know what it is, family. This is another one of my favorite games to have.
So yeah.
When, question is posed, well, what you got? Is it this or is it that? We're going to do hip-hop group version of this and that. So it's real simple. We're going to match them up. My man Chad's going to say which one of these duos he's choosing. I think we got about 13 on the list, but trust and believe, I think they get real interesting as we progress. So here we go. Starting right off. This or that. Run DMC or Public Enemy?
Right out of the gate, you just stabbed me in the side, man, right in the reel. That was a dirty one there. That was dirty. I got to go with DMC, though, man. DMC's the king, man.
Okay, all right. Hit Squad or Juice Crew?
Oh, got to go Juice Crew.
Tribe Called Quest or De La Soul?
Why you do that one? Why did you do that? That was uncalled for. This is uncalled for. This is violence. You chose violence.
It's gonna get so much worse.
I'm gonna go with Tribe. I'm doing all this under duress, by the way.
The Root or Black Star?
I hate you, man. The Roots.
UGK or 8 Ball and MJG?
I already hated you as soon as you said UGK. I don't think we're not gonna be friends after this one. I think this might go too far. You know it's UGK, man.
All right, I'll ease up on you a little bit. No Limit or Cash Money?
In 1998, No Limit. Now, Cash Money.
Wu-Tang or Rough Riders?
Rough Riders.
Naughty by Nature or EPMD?
Naughty by Nature.
Slaughterhouse or The Lox?
The Lox.
The Firm or The Fugees?
After the last show we did, I gotta say the Fugees, or I'm going to be completely disconnected with my opinions.
PSC or DTP?
DTP.
G-Unit or Murder Inc?
Murder Inc. I know that's weird, y'all. I know that's weird.
No.
The collabs they put together were really good.
They did put together some good collabs. Aftermath or Death Row?
Death Row.
And last but not least, Goody Mob or Outkast?
I should have seen that coming. I should have seen the little red dot on my head. I should have seen it. I'm going to go Goody Mob, man. I think that might surprise you, but I'm going Goody Mob.
Goody MOB. Let's recap. You went DMC, Juice Crew, Tribe, Roots, UGK, Cash Money, Rough Riders, Naughty, Lock, Fuji, DTP, Murder Inc., Death Row, and last but not least, Goody Mob.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that list at all. Poke a hole in that list. But now, to move on to the next matchup. and one that is going to break my heart. The matchup on the Bambaataa and Grandmaster Flash side, the number 5 seed, It's Dark and Hell is Hot versus number 2, The Score. BA, what's your initial thought on this one? What'd you initially think when you saw this matchup? Because we've had a week to sit on this one.
So I took 4 days and really tried to break down these 2 albums. Listen to them over and over again, and try to go, what's my favorite? What's this? What's that? What? You know, sometimes that you don't need 7 words when 3 will do. So let me break it down this way. For me, the obvious choice is The Score. And it's the obvious choice because I can't see a snowball's chance in hell for It's Dark and Hell is Hot beating Illmatic at the end. Like there's no way I could ever say that. So if I can't honestly say it could win it all, then in good conscience, I can't put it at the end. I'm not saying that The Score can win it all either, but I've always felt like if this was the 2 matchups, if it came down to Illmatic and The Score, this might be the AI version of Ali versus Tyson, both in their prime situation. So for me, it's The Score.
Yeah, I did the same thing you did. I had a trip to Atlanta for a week. And so I had plenty of time to listen to these on the way there and on the way back and while I was there. And these were the 2 that I really concentrated on listening to. And initially, I thought the exact same thing you just said. Initially, I just thought The Score is flawless. And then I went back and I listened to It's Dark and Hell is Hot.
Great album.
And I listened to this album both driving to Atlanta and driving back. This album has at least 9 bangers on it. It has at least 9 bangers. Now, I felt like as far as total composition, I related this album, the sound of this album, to Denzel Washington. For roughly 16 tracks, it did pretty much the exact same thing. It did one thing, but it did that one thing so well that I wanted to hear all 17 tracks. Like I didn't care that it was only doing this one thing. And if you know what I mean, in a sense, like his image is just this hungry street, just vicious street dude. And it's just that one thing. He's got his religion that goes with it, but it's just that one, kind of a one thing, but he's Denzel Washington doing that one thing. Like nobody does that one thing like he does that one thing. I guess this is a long way to say I agree with you, but I really wanted It's Dark and I do think It's Dark and Hell is Hot could potentially beat Illmatic if they met in the finals. I didn't have that doubt, but if It's Dark and Hell is Hot had a branched out in one more direction, in one more song, then I think it would be easier for me to say that it could beat The Score. But The Score, we talked about this album, all these albums 5 times now on this tournament. I talk about The Score other than to say it was flawless. I can't punch a hole in it. I cannot punch a hole in The Score. So I got to let The Score go, and we got to let The Score meet Illmatic in the finals, which we'll get to coming right up. Here we are at the final matchup that I'm really excited for. And this is actually a pretty amazing matchup, I think. And this is one that I'm proud to put this one out. I don't care if you guys see these 2 and you don't think they should meet. We do not care
at all,
because this is an amazing matchup. The number 1 overall seed has of course advanced it. I know some of y'all have already been in the comments with this. Why is it even a question? It should definitely be. It has. Illmatic is in the final. Of course, Illmatic is in the finals. It's meeting up with the number 2 seed from the Grandmaster Flash region, The Score. And we'll go track for track if we need to. BA, I'm going to flip a coin in my head. You want to start? I mean, you won the toss.
Yeah, did I?
So you can choose. You won the toss, so you can choose.
I'll start. If you go look at the 16 albums in The Score's bracket, and you look at the 16 albums, the Illmatic's bracket, they were exactly where they were supposed to be. They ended up exactly where they should have ended up. The same one of them good old Paul Boys Netflix events where we hoodwink you at the end. This ain't what that is. But I just wanted to put that out there because I wanted everybody to understand that we are where we are for a reason. If you go back and look at all 64 albums in this thing and how they were seeded in the regions they were seeded, you might have some arguments with a 12 seed that should have been a 10 seed or a 10 seed, it could have been a 6. But the first 4 seeds in each region, what's the argument? The first 16 seeded
and the final 8
albums.
And the final 8.
What was the argument? And the final 8.
If you're going to tell me that one of those in the final 8 shouldn't be there, tell me what it's obviously not as good as. Tell me one album that's obviously better than one of those. And I'm fine with that.
Don't tell me because you like this artist better, or we're not talking about favorite. This is not the favoriteist. You've heard both of us say that it was painful for us to get rid of certain albums in this list that we preferred over other albums. But again, objectively,
if this were my list, Do or Die would still be here. It would still be here. And I won't let that go. All right, I'm back.
And in another world, we might have had the miseducation of Lauryn Hill versus The Score, just so I could have laughed about it. I believe in my heart of hearts that The Score is the greatest hip-hop album ever made, plain and simple. I believe in my heart of hearts Illmatic is one of the greatest lyrical projects ever put out. But I believe The Score is the greatest hip-hop album ever. That's BA's take.
That's what's up, man. I want to say something that might not be very popular with a good percentage of the people watching this, and if so, I think, like I just said, when I said in the Final Four about Illmatic, that Illmatic came out and it spoke to something very specific. It captured that thing perfectly. Like nobody had captured that thing before. He captured that thing. He took that photo like nobody had ever taken that photo before. And people knew it from the first time they heard it. And like you said, lyrically, there is no hole to punch in that album. However, I think that people like that album so much, so early, and for so long, that there are 2 ways that a lot of people jump in the comments and go, it's Illmatic, why are we even having this whole thing? And to those people, I would ask you to ask yourself if you're saying that Illmatic is the best album ever because everybody else says that Illmatic is the best album ever, and it's just easier to say that and not have to argue it. Are you being lazy with that opinion? Or are you scared to say what you really think the best album ever is?
Wow. I don't mean to cut you off. You said something there. Like, we joke around me like that's a bar. But that was a bar. I feel like Illmatic is a vaulted album, and I don't mean vaulted as an old. I mean vaulted as safe deposit box vaulted, a prized possession.
It's gold in a cash world.
Right, because what you don't see a lot, except for real true Nas fans or really deep hip-hop heads, you don't see a lot of replay over the years of Illmatic songs. I was shocked the other day. I was coming home and I actually heard Life's a Bitch on radio, right? Wow. And I was like, wow, right? I was like, that's crazy, because that's my song. Like, I play that a lot. I play a couple of joints off of Illmatic, but that's my song because I love him and AZ together. So that's my song. But I was like, literally heard Ready or Not 15 times in the last 2 weeks. I heard Fool La La La. Like, it's out there. It's still out. It's 95, ladies and gentlemen.
Ready or
30
Not.
years, it's out there.
Ready or Not and Killing Me Softly with his song or two, they have been steadily played since 95.
30 years, folks. It's out there.
Yeah, so to those Nas fans, man, like, the Nas fans are obviously, you'd be upset, and I get it. You be upset, you know what I'm saying? You got your favorite album. That's cool. But to those of you who, like I said earlier, who are like, it has to be Illmatic, think about it, man. It's okay if you think that there's a better album than it. Look, Illmatic had the #1 spot almost from its birth. And even if The Score came out only a year later, people were still scared to say that The Score was better than Illmatic for a very long time.
Let's keep it a buck. 365 days after Illmatic, The Score was not better than Illmatic.
No, it was not.
365 days later. I would go so far to say it probably took about a decade for this to even be a conversation.
I agree. I think everybody was scared to have that conversation. You're like, this album was too good. I don't even want to have that conversation for a decade. And I can't say what that says about an album. That for 10 years, a lot of people said, I don't even want to have that conversation if there's a better album than this. I don't care. if there's a better. We didn't care if there was a better album. I didn't.
Might be the most cliche thing in the world, but do you know how much good hip hop came out a decade after Illmatic? And no one was willing to have that conversation.
I do think that a lot of times people just lean on Illmatic because we leaned on it so long, and it's no disrespect. It's actually paying respect to Illmatic to do that, but it's disrespecting. There are at least hundreds of classic albums that have come out since then, and it's unfair to them not to throw them in the conversation after 30 years. So, I mean, look, being king for 30 years is a Hank Aaron career. So salute to you, Nas. But the score, we said it before, man, from beginning to end, it's a story that you can't take one track out of. You have to listen to every track
to get the picture. Yeah, they did a puzzle where other artists were painting a picture. The score was a puzzle, and you literally had to put all the pieces in the right spot to get the picture.
Yeah, so that's it, y'all. That after all this work, after all 64 albums, this was a ton of fun, and I want to thank everybody, all the fans out there who chimed in when we first started this and put your albums out there. I know a lot of y'all are going to be disappointed in our choices, but you got yours, man, and that is what makes hip-hop so beautiful. That is the beautiful thing, is you got your people, we got ours, everybody's got their people. So don't go away mad on this one. Just go away, because the score is the best rap album in history. Hey, don't be too mad, y'all. Don't sip too much haterade. Take care of yourselves. Be good, y'all.